Everybody, my name is Maria Marrugat. I work for EIT Urban Mobility, and today we are here to present the Co-Create NEB Call. Wait a second. I'm just recording, and yeah, I'll stop the transcription. So yeah, I'll take control. Here is the agenda for today. We're 5-7 minutes behind. Apologies for that. As I said, we just finished the webinar from the Connect call, and today we're gonna present the Co-Create call. A general overview is going to be done by me, and the general procedure on how to submit it via Plaza is done by Laura. It's very important because we don't accept applications through PDFs, emails, whatever. You have to do it through Plaza, and please pay attention because it's not very straightforward. And the last part of this webinar will be for questions and answers. Here we can see. Okay, so I'm gonna.
Sí, porque tendría.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Maria, I think you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I tried to mute everyone, but I didn't know I was going to mute myself too. So please, everyone, mute themselves because it's often somebody gets a phone call during the webinar and so on. So please keep your microphone off. Here is the EIT community in European Bauhaus infographics to explain what do we do in a nutshell. As you know, the new European Bauhaus aims to translate the Green Deal into tangible change on the ground by placing culture and citizens at the core of the activities. And we, as EIT community, we join forces with other KICs to deliver so. As you know, EIT stands for European Institute of Technology, and it's based in Budapest, and it has 9 KICs. In this activity, we work together with Climate, who leads the whole European Bauhaus. We work together with food, manufacturing, and digital, and hopefully next year we'll welcome the new KIC of culture and creativity. And what do we do is that from social demand for change, we have 3 pillars that are trying to develop, to implement this change on the ground. One is the Ignite NEB. These are kind of soft hackathons that are targeted beyond students and young professionals. We want to open the scope to EDA to a more a wider community, and those solutions that are awarded that can have a voucher to implement, prototype their solution into makerspace, which is called Grow NEB. Then Catalyze NEB is about accelerating program of 20 startups. These startups are also implementing or having the core values of the NEB in their NDA. So we also have the Connect and Co-Create NEB calls, which today we are explaining, and it's important for you to know that those successful projects can later apply to enhance NEB call, which is a call to scale up those activities either within the same location with a more holistic approach, or to replicate that solution elsewhere. And here is a very snapshot of, as I said, these are the KICs that we are working together, and what we have achieved in the last 2 years. We have accelerated more than 32 startups. We supported the 35 projects, citizen engagement, and this had been done throughout 4 calls to connect and to co-create for 2021 and 2022. We had 6 hackathons and 5 maker spaces. And for your information, there are also 4 online courses available and for free for you. And of course, we have been in charge with involved in many dissemination events. And then this is the call that we are explaining today. And the aim is to boost the transformation of cities, peri-urban and rural areas. And how we want to do that is by bringing individuals and communities closer to nature, bringing sense of community, and addressing specific needs and boosting circularity. So who can apply is you need to form a consortia. It cannot be applied by only one entity. and the consortia have to be between 2 and a maximum of 4 partners. And it's a must, then one of them has to be a city, a region, or affiliated area, affiliated entity to a city or region. And of course, that affiliated entity will have to provide evidence of so. And we have templates in the website of what's the document that you need to submit. Risk countries are obviously always encouraged to apply, and we have a list in our website as well. And in United Kingdom and Switzerland are able to participate if they don't receive up to 60,000 per organization throughout the whole business plan 23-25. So they have to make an addition of all the quantities that they receive if they are participated in different programs and different activities. Funding restrictions also may apply to Hungarian public interest trust and universities, and we have more details in our website. And the scope of the activities, again, these are the 4 challenges that you need to give answer to. These challenges have been collected by the GRC, Joint Research Center, by throughout 2021. They did the co-design phase of the European Bauhaus in several locations throughout Europe, and they clustered the challenges that people were expressing into these 4 axes, which is reconnecting with nature and regaining sense of community, prioritizing people and places that require the most, and the need for long-term life cycle and integrated thinking. Expected outcomes and impacts are improve quality of a defined public space by implementing the NEB approach. So you may focus on a particular place in a town, city, or rural area that you want to implement the NEB approach, or improve the quality of public space by complementing local policy strategy whilst implementing the NEB. You know, this is much of a broader approach if it makes reference to strategic documents, which could be SUMPs, which could be a circular economy action plan, which could be farm to fork. We have a list of documents that could apply to that in our call manual. And then also made a proposal must at least meet one of these expected outputs. So one is products and services that could include rapid prototyping, public space, or co-design and co-stewardship of green spaces, natural-based solutions, public realm and commons, urban regeneration in less favorable areas, and the transformation of public spaces boosting circularity. And that could, as an example, could be harvesting water or cycle nutrients locally. And next, Laura, you took control. I don't know if that's the end of me, or should I take control back?
Actually,
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's no problem. I think we're closer. So you have to comply with a minimum of 2 KPIs out of the list below. So you can pick any of these 2 in the list. One is demonstration pilots and living labs. I haven't finished on that. Public realm improvements. So that has to include both small-scale temporary changes and permanent investment as a part of the public realm action plan. So again, that needs to be in line with the local strategies. And then a strengthened resilience to unavoidable impacts of climate change. That refers to a number of people that is involved, and we say the target is a minimum of 50. Climate-friendly jobs created or sustained. 2 events organized, number of events organized to engage with citizens in the co-creation, it's 25. Transitions towards greater circularity. Sorry, that's missing the target, but it's 1. Increased public engagement in the food system. Number of people taking part in the co-creation activities is a target of 25. And new skills and professions developed in the food. So we ask for 1. Just to mention, if there is any difference, it shouldn't be, but we are going to circulate this afterwards. And if there was any difference between this and the call manual, what prevails is the call manual. Okay. And the next one is about the duration, of the activities is up to 11 months because we aim to start somehow in February until December. And there'll be a deliverable of 2 mandatory deliverables. And then it's important that in the list, in the call manual, it tells you what should be containing those deliverables. And in the final deliverable, you have to mention about a workshop that we ask for to leverage the KPI knowledge triangle integration. So we ask you to deliver a workshop together with cities, research institutions, and business, and what's the outputs of those to help you boost your activities. Funding allocation is up to 8 projects and will be a maximum award of 45,000 projects, and we require a co-funding of 25% of the total cost. So, for instance, if a total cost of project is 60,000, AAT funding is going to be 45, and then co-funding is 15,000, which equals 25% of 60. If you have a total cost of project of 70, then EAT funding still remains the same as 45,000. It just means that the co-funding will be higher. It will be 25,000, which is above 20%, which is above 25%, which is fine. So a financial sustainability mechanism is not a must, but it will be assessed in the evaluation criteria. So as you know, if some of you have worked with us, innovation requires financial sustainability as a must. We don't, but we also want to see the long-lasting effects of your activity, and we want you to describe the potential economic impact of the project and how it's planned to be continued beyond the grant, and measurements on exploiting data and how it could be used to marketing or size plans. So if you decide not to do that, you still can apply, but you will not get the points for that. If you reply to that, you will get the assessment of it, and you'll get some points for it. And then it's the call calendar. Just briefly, the next page. Oh, no, sorry, that's the examples of, obviously, the examples from 2021 and 2022. So for you to know, to have a bit of a flavor of what could you be doing in this call. Also in the call website, we have a list of previously funded projects. So you will see all of them. Here is just a quick snapshot of 2, but you can see all that have been funded last year. So here we have on the left-hand side is a foundation for Open University of Catalonia was the lead partner, together with the Global Institute of Neurodevelopment, Integrated Care, and Barcelona City Council. And the idea was to design for, so they did the guidelines for design for kids and families with an autism spectrum, and how they can be integrated in the public space. And the next one is Recharging Recovery. That was in Ljubljana, and they put the focus on how to design public spaces around medical centers, and how to do that together with patients and workers. And they did this renovation of this small pavilion in there. The methods of engagement were really good with both projects, but of course I cannot explain them all here. So the next page would tell call calendar. Launch of the call has been the 19th of July. And I want to highlight that there's still going to be a matchmaking session on the 8th of September at 10 o'clock. And what is that? It's because we ask you to form a consortia with a city, region, or an affiliated entity. And of course, some of you have already been working with cities, some may not. And this is a place where each of you, if you want, you will be able to pitch. And you will be able to meet other people to form a consortium. The deadline of the call will be again by Plaza on the 16th of October at 5. So we left quite a bit time for closing the call, because we're aware we're in holiday season, and also because you must have time after the matchmaking to bring a proposal together. Quality evaluation of the proposal is November-December 2023, and communication of results mid-December, just before Christmas probably. And then tentative start of the project would be February 2024, and until the December 2024. And the total ET funding is 360,000. So we are going to award 8 projects, 45,000 each. And just to mention that this calendar is indicative, and obviously more requirements are on the call manual. And I think now it's the turn for Anne-Laure.
Yes, thank you very much, Maria. Good morning, everyone. I'm Anne-Laure Slagnan. I work together with Maria in EIT Urban Mobility, and I'm going to give you today some practical information on the operational side of this call. So actually, what is the process of the evaluation, and what are the main requirements that we're going to look into in order to be able to evaluate your proposal, and then what's the process in Plaza. Because as Maria said, the submission by the 16th of October needs to be done before 5 o'clock in Plaza. So this is our submission tool that we're going to use, and this is mandatory. So and this is very important because every year we receive proposal, unfortunately, outside the system. Last year, actually, it was by email. So we have to say that this year it has to be done by Plaza, by the submission tool. So if we receive any proposal outside Plaza, it will be disregarded. So it won't be eligible. So this will be very unfortunate for you. So please bear this in mind. In terms of the process, as we said, we're going to start. So you submit your proposal on time, and we're going to go through these 8 criteria in order to make sure your proposal is eligible and is able to be sent to the quality evaluation. So we're going to start with the completeness to make sure that the project leader, so in your proposal, you need to select to identify who will be the representative of this consortium. So one entity, one person who will take the lead, and this person will actually submit the proposal in Plaza in English with all the mandatory sections filling in. We'll also look into the registration of the applicants, and I'm going to explain you in a second. So all applicants, including, of course, the project leader, so every single entity as part of the consortium, even the affiliated entity, which are part of the project, have to be registered in our system in Plaza. This means having a partner information form, so a PIF, fully completed. And we say fully, it's with all the mandatory field completed. This is about your administrative data and financial data, legal, contact person, etc. It's a very straightforward field and form, but it has to be completed. And most of the time, a lot of applicants miss some fields, or, who is not able to provide all the information. And this is really, again, very unfortunate, because this is very basic information that is needed in order to check you're eligible to this call. We also include a PIC number, and I'm going to show you also in a second what this is about. So eligibility of applicant is another criteria. So of course, all applicants and all partners, including the project leader, of course, needs to be based in an EU member states or in a third country associated to Horizon Europe. So also in the call manual, section 5, you have the list. In section 2, also you have the link of all these countries. The composition of the consortium is also very important. We ask you to have 2 minimum or maximum partners. At least 2 needs to be independent of each other, and at least one of these, up to 2 or up to 4, need to be a city or a region or an affiliated entity to this city or to this region. If actually there is an affiliated entity, and this affiliated entity is new, meaning it's not registered previously in our system, it hasn't been validated as affiliated entity in our system, we actually need to ask you a registration document. Or first, it will be ideal in the registration document in order to see that actually there is this affiliation link between the affiliated entity who is applying and the city or the region. If not, there is the declaration of affiliation. There is a template available in the call web page, and you can just fill in the declaration and send it back. in Plaza, there is a section for that, okay? The co-funding rate is a minimum of 25%. As Mali explained before, the KPI address, there is a mandatory number, at least 2 KPIs. Minimum, you can decide to have more than 2, but at least the minimum is 2 mandatory. From the list, you can pick up to the minimum 2 that are match best your proposal. And finally, deliverables. So we have also minimum of 2 will be listed in Plaza. If you consider or you would like to add 1 or 2 additional more, that's feasible. We usually don't want to overburden you with a lot of documents, but you know, if you feel it's needed and you would like to add deliverable, that's also possible. Provided that your proposal meet these 8 criteria, we're going to send your proposal to the quality evaluation, and this will be done by external experts, evaluators that will actually assess the excellence, impact, and implementation of your project. Basically, they will assess what is in the call manual. So we're going to explain you in a second what these criteria are about, and they will produce a summary evaluation report. So they will individually look into your proposals and then your proposal, and then they will consensus a score and an explanation, a comment to each of the criteria, and give a final score per proposal, a maximum of 60 points. Okay, again, it's more explained in section 5 of the call manual. Maria will go through this criteria with you, so you understand really what the evaluators will look into and where you need to put emphasis in your proposals.
Thanks, Anne-Laure. So here is the breakdown for each criteria. As you know, any Horizon Europe project is split by excellence, innovation, and impact. And within excellence, we have whether the proposal objectives are a SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound, but also in line with the European Bauhaus challenges that I've described earlier on, you know, bringing nature back to cities, boosting sense of belonging, circularity, and focusing on people that need it the most. So this is 5 points. And then also we look into the methodology and the engagement strategy, whether it's innovative, which creative and stimulative formats to co-create public spaces are described to transform cities, peri-urban and rural areas. So please, I would ask you to be as specific as possible. You will never be penalized to be bringing more detail, but you could also not get as many points as possible if your proposal is just rather vague. Then the proposals demonstrates the social demand, its need and relevance for the city, region, society, with at least 2 identified target groups. So we want to see to which social demand is your proposal responding to, and how this is linked for local policy. I mean, to those documents that we mentioned earlier on, is complementing, or how is it somehow being relevant for the local authorities. Very important also to identify at least 2 target groups into your activities. Also, quality evaluation on the impact is whether the proposal expected in outcomes, outputs, and impacts are measurable at quantitative and qualitative level. That's important because we often get either quality or quantity, but not both. And we want to see both to be able to assess properly. And we will also want to see what type of performance metrics are proposed to assess objectively sustainability, inclusivity, and aesthetic value. As you know, these are the 3 pillars of the NEB. And people tend to be more used to measure sustainability, but maybe not so much inclusivity, and especially it's quite difficult to measure also the quality of experience, the aesthetic value. So please dedicate time on that too. The proposal demonstrates the relevance of the benefits of the project to and improve the selected public space or local strategic plan. So as we said, either the proposal is relevant because it focuses on a very specific public space and improves it towards implementing the NEB, or it focuses more onto the local policy strategy and public realm terms and implements the NEB on that. So how you demonstrate that in the proposal, how you see how you highlight the benefits for citizens on that is also assessed. And then the proposal supports gender equality and promotes wider diversity. It's part of the inclusiveness, but we wanted to make a special mention too. And then the proposal presents a detailed outreach, dissemination, and end-user engagement plan. And again, that targets a specific audience. It's very important that you describe the end-user engagement plan and how you're going to engage with your audience regarding whether they are in terms of age or education, how do you plan to engage there. And the proposal has the potential to be implemented on a broader scale. Again, that's important because we want to have impact beyond these grant projects. So we would like to see it next year being able to apply for the enhanced NEB call. That, as I mentioned, is a call to scale up previous citizen engagement projects funded by the NEB. So if you're successful in implementing, so why not do it in a way that you are already thinking that could be potentially scalable in an easy way elsewhere. And the proposal potential economic impact is outlined to ensure future durability and transferability, and we put effort there onto how to exploit the obtained data, including how this could be used as a marketing or sales plan. As we said, this is the financial sustainability. We are not enforcing it as a must. It's just like if you don't describe that here, instead of 5, you have 0. But if somebody does, then we will assess them accordingly. And then the final one is implementation planning and sound financial management. So you can describe here a work plan and budget, identifying the deliverables, milestones, how is this related to the objectives, KPIs, and expected outcomes. You can also attach a Gantt plan that Aaron will tell you how to in Plaza. And then also the next point is about how effective is the professional engagement structure that you propose. And here, again, it's not enough to say this entity will deliver this and that. It's good to know who in this entity will do that. And so we can check if that person has the relevant experience and so on, because if we say that it's an entity who has more than, 20 years of experience, then we cannot know whether you're going to bring the most junior team member or the most senior or a combination of both. It's good to be specific, as I said. And the last point is a clear risk and mitigation plan. I think that's all from my end. Laura?
Yes, thank you very much, Maria. Let's continue. So once the experts actually will assess based on these criteria that Maria was presented, and that will be addressed in your application form, we will actually look into the ranking list. So only proposal ranking equal to or over 40 points will be sent to the EIT Community NEB Selection Committee, which is the final step before the financial selection. So they're going to agree on the list of proposals proposed for funding, and based on the ranking list, as I said, and potentially identifying some recommendations, strategic recommendation that your proposal will need to meet in order for to be selected, to be funded in the end. Okay, so if this is the case, you will have a few weeks in order to address those conditions, and only after that, once all the conditions are fulfilled, the onboarding and the contracting phase will begin, and we will address your communication to say, okay, it's final, you've been selected, and your project is about to start. Okay, again, this is more detailedly explained in the section 5 of the call manual. But before to do that, we ask you, and this is the very first step, to register your organization. And when we say register your organization, is any entity as part of your consortium. So it's not only you as the project leader who represents an entity, but it's also the other members of these projects. Okay, so as we said, up to minimum 2, up to 4. And this includes, as I said, every single entity, even the affiliated entity of the city or the region. So the very first thing is to obtain your PIC. You go into this website of the European Commission Funding and Tender Opportunities portal in order to obtain your partner identification code number. This very straightforward process. It's gonna ask you just to give some administrative legal data of your organization, and this will generate a PIC, 5 digital numbers, PIC number, a code that you will actually need to put into Plaza when you register your organization. It's part of the eligibility criteria. It really takes you just 10 minutes, no more, I swear. So please do so. If you don't have any PIC, you can even do it that for now, even though you're not sure you're going to apply, because this is something that if you're doing this now, you will be using this PIC for any other European funding program. So you probably have already one because you've probably even submit a proposal to another program or even participated in another European funding program. So you can, in this case, of course, you can use this PIC number, which is unique for the entire program of Horizon Europe. The second step is actually to register your organization in Plaza. So to do that, every single entity, again, needs to do this step individually. So, and these steps is actually requires an approval by our team, by our technical team, which takes usually 2 working days maximum. So sometimes it's very straightforward and it's done within the day of it, within an hour. In some other cases, when we have many registration at the same time, it requires more time. So this is why we ask you not to wait until the end and to register as soon as possible. Again, even though you're not sure to participate, this is done. This is something that, it will be done. You will generate a username, a user account, etc. And you will use this afterwards if you want to actually draft a proposal and send a proposal to this call or to any other call of EIT Urban Mobility in this case. So the registration will close 2 days before the deadline. So again, this is why don't wait until the end, because if you don't do that, you won't be able to continue the process. You won't be able to select your partners in your draft proposal. You will be blocked, really. So, and your proposal most likely will be non-eligible. So that will be very a pity. The third step is actually to complete and update your partner information form. So this is the PIF. Actually, when you've done with the registration, you will see in the main menu, in the main web page of Plaza, this section on partner information form. You just need to click and to fill in. There are a few tabs with different fields regarding your, the legal organization name, your legal address, some information about the legal status of your organization. That's also very important. If you're an affiliated entity, in this case, linked to a city or a region, all this information all the fields have to be completed. That's mandatory because that gives us information to understand if you're eligible or not, for which country you come from, what is your legal status, again, if you're an affiliated or not, etc. And this is what you're going to look into when we go through this first step of evaluation, the admissibility and eligibility check. Okay, so again, all participating partners must have a PIC and a PIF complete before you submit a proposal. If you have already a PIC number, there is no need to register again, as I said, and you can find if your organization is registered already or not in the link here. You can see the link. And if you have already a PIF because you already participate in a call with us, in a project with us, or you have just submitted a proposal to any previous call, you just need to check that the information provided is updated. Okay. Following, so the next step, when the registration is done, you will see in Plaza in the main page, there will be this call for proposal dashboard, and you will see it's not available now, but will be in a few days, maximum a couple of weeks. We are still fixing some technical aspects of the call, of the application form online, but you will see a displaying in another line in green with Co-Create NEB Call, and you just need to click and to create a draft proposal. When I say you, it has to be the project leader of your project. So five types will need to be completed by the project leader. The tab 4 is not needed because it's more for innovation call, but you will continue and concentrate on the others. Starting with tab number 0, it's actually information basic data on your projects. So you need to select cross-kick scheme, the Co-Create NEB from the period February to December, the segment, and then you put a title of your project, an acronym, the start and date, which usually be in February, December, and then a project description that we're going to use in case your proposal is actually selected in order to promote and disseminate your project, and then the project results. You will see in all the tabs and all the slides I'm going to show you, there is always this save and check and save button here at the top of the screen. So this is something that we need to do whenever you fill in some information in Plaza. So first, whenever you're filling and stop completing, you save the information. And if you're ready and want to continue the process in the next tab 1 in this case, you will need to click on check and save. And without doing so, you will be blocked. You will stay in the main tab that you have in front of you. Okay, so we always receive a lot of questions and doubts regarding this. So this is why we really insist that without checking and saving the tab, you're not able to continue the process. Tab 1 is about contact. So here we need to identify who is the project leader. So again, you will need to select from a drop-down menu list. You will see, and you will select the name of the organization, the email address linked to this project leader, and you will need to list all the project, the members, the organization, the partners in your consortium, including again the lead partner. Okay, so this is why it's very important that all of them are registered, because otherwise you won't see them from the list in the system. And as a project leader, you can also give access to other person in your organization, but also in your consortium as a co-editors. They can be listed and they can access the proposal. They won't be able to submit in principle, not in principle. They won't be able to submit, but they will be able to see, and in some cases to edit information. So make sure you give the right access to the right people. Save, check and save. We continue with the tab number 2, project overview. So here, this is about some summary of your project, description, the purpose, the scope, the outcome and impact is not needed in this tab because it is requested in tab 3. The work plan, we also would like to understand, of course, your activity plan and the timeline and so on. You can, if you want, always add a project Gantt chart, this either an Excel or a PPT or whatever you prefer in the following tab. The IPR and exploitation of results are optional, so they are assessed in the evaluation criteria up to 5 points. So as Maria said, if they are assessed, you potentially can have additional points. And then we really would like to understand the partner roles, skills, and expertise. This will give us information about what the consortium, what each of the partner are doing, and what the skills and expertise they have in order to see if they match and they have the right competencies to run and implement the project. So you always will have additional explanation in this question mark, this green button here. You click on it and you will always see an additional explanation or some additional information about what we expect from you in each of these questions. And to edit the information, you just need to click on the edit button here. And as I said, save the information. And when you've done and you want to continue, you check and save and you continue with the following tab. Still within the tab number 2, we continue with the deliverables. So you will see a couple of deliverables displaying in the system automatically. As I said earlier, you can always add. This is really not mandatory, but if you feel it's needed, you can always add a few more, one additional deliverables using the green plus button here. And then the community-specific KPIs. So these are a minimum of 2 implementing during 2024. These are not actually, this is for another call, but anyway, you will see which from the list, from the, again, a drop-down list, you will select up to 2 minimum, and you put the target value corresponding at minimum target value. You can always go beyond, but not less than that. Otherwise, again, it won't be an eligible proposal. And then you actually edit the risk management and contingency plan with some explanation in this tab. And finally, we finish with some KPI integration, which is also optional, but it's assessed in the evaluation criteria. So again, it will be also something positive. In this case, the commercialization and dissemination plan is addressed in tab 3. Commercialization strategy and project contribution to the financial sustainability. Again, this is something optional that might be assessed in the evaluation criteria if you address that by the evaluators. And the gender and ethics, you just follow the instruction and continue with your application, and you finalize tab 2. We step 3.
If I may just briefly, Laura, that regarding
Yes.
the KPI, it is optional, but we do ask that all activities should leverage the knowledge triangle integration by organizing a workshop that brings together cities, research institution, and business. And we'd like to see that in the shape of a workshop that helps you to deliver your objectives. And it will also be part of we also ask about describing that, what are the outputs in the final delivery. That is all.
Thanks a lot, Maria. Yes, that's really important, actually. Tab number 3, we continue with some keywords. You just need to select from a predefined list, up to minimum 3, maximum 5, but you can also define your own keywords that best define your proposal. So this is just for administrative and statistics point of view. We continue with step 3 with some specific questions. So here, what Maria said before, you need to let us know which challenge your proposal is addressed to. So you can select minimum 1 from these 4. But you can potentially have more than 1. And in this case, you need to indicate which one of these 4 is most relevant to your proposal, to your application. Regarding the outcome, so it's either A or B. You need to pick up one of these 2. And finally, the output, you can decide even one or the 2 that are mentioned here, product or service or co-design of urban regeneration. And then you will be asked to reply to 7 questions regarding the objective of SMART. So you need to explain what are the objectives of your project and how they are in line with the NEB challenges, what your solution or methodology or strategy, engagement strategy is innovative, how your project demonstrates the social demand, of course, in relation with the needs of the city or the region and the society, and again, identifying targets group. This is something that we see missing in some proposals, so don't forget about identifying these groups. How the outcome, outputs, and impacts are measurable, including a metrics, as we said, the relevance of the project to improve the selected public space or local strategy plan, linked to also the city and the region, a dissemination plan and user engagement plan. This is very much relevant in this type of project. So make sure you, again, include the target audience and the stakeholders. And finally, how potentially your project is scalable and replicable someone else. So everything is linked to what Maria presented before regarding the evaluation criteria. So you can see already that we are repeating somehow the information. As we say, you can potentially add a project Gantt chart. This is something that will need to be uploaded in tab number 3. You select it and upload your information. It's not going to be PDF format only. We're going to change that. Sorry, it's going to be, of course, possible in Excel. And a registration document or a declaration of affiliation, or both of them, but at least we, of course, need to know exactly, in case of a new affiliated entity, that this affiliated entity has a legal affiliation, has a link with a city or a region. And this is what we need to know, and this needs to be uploaded here. Finally, the budget. I'm going to go a bit quicker because it's a bit late, but you will have these slides available for you for further consultation. So the main message here is that what you need to do is to create different tasks, link, of course, to your work plan, and to assign every single task to assign a budget to a single task and assign a partner to each of these tasks. Okay. So how to do that? You click on the green plus button here, and this is what you will see. So you create a task title, task type, a short description, who is the task leader, the start and end date, the related deliverables, so to which deliverable this task is related to. So at least you know that we have at least 2 deliverables, but you might potentially have 1 more, 2 more, and the related budget. You click on edit, and this is what you will see. So who actually the budget per partner. Okay, so you will need to do that repetitively depending on how many partners you have in your consortium. So the budget here is 2024, and then you had next to each of cost category. We use the same cost categories and budget as arrives in Europe, so there is no need. I mean, if you know this program, you won't be surprised. If this is the first time, you can always go back to this document, eligibility of expenditure, where we actually explain this cost category, what they are about, short description. But in case of doubt, you can always contact us, of course. So we start with personnel, who is working on the project, who is staff linked to the entity, who work on the project. Subcontracting, this is visible in case any of the members of your consortium is able to achieve a task. This is most likely be very reduced in terms of budget. We don't want to see a huge amount of budget assigned to the subcontracting, because of course we prefer you to implement the activities, but this is not impossible. Travel, subsistence equipment, other goods and services, everything related to your activities. If you need to travel, if you need to organize an event or several events, actually, you can, of course, allocate cost to that. And the financial support to third parties and internally invoice goods and services most likely are not going to apply to your projects. So you can definitely put the 0. It's in case you give money to third parties. As I said, it's not going to happen most likely. And indirect costs, they are automatically calculated on top of your direct cost. So it's 25%. It's calculated automatically, no need to justify anything. And it will be paid in case you are selected to you. Again, automatically, always 25% on top of the personnel, travel equipment, and other goods and services. Next to it, you need to indicate what is your co-funding. So as Maria said, it's 25% minimum, could be more, but at least minimum we need to see, and we need to understand whether this money comes from your own resources or your or national regional funding or any other source from the European Commission. You save and you repeat this for every single task and every single partner. And in the end, we also need to understand your budget. So this is going to be a very short description of who is going to work in your projects at consortium level. So, and also if you have travel and subsistence, other goods and services, etc., a short description for the evaluators to understand the money you're going to use for what, and to understand this is the best value for money that you're going to use for this project. Once everything is final, and you are ready to validate your proposal, we need to click on the final item, and you will need to save your changes. Finally, you will see that every single tab, as I said, will need to be validated with a green check mark. If that's not the case, go back to that specific tab, check what is missing, check and save. When it's done, so you want to move forward with the submission, you click back to, so you select number 1, you check and save all your changes, you back to the list, you click on back to the list at the top, step number 2, And this is why you will see, you will go back to the main page, you will see your proposal. If you have more than one, of course, make sure you select the correct one. You see the button here, submit, number 3, you click, and you're about to submit your proposal. What is very, very important is that when you're done your submission, you won't be able to make any changes again. So this is not like Horizon Europe, for instance, other program where you can submit every time you want until the day and the hour of the submission. Here, that's not the same. Once you've done the submission, it's over. You cannot edit anymore, and we are not able actually to reopen it. So this is why make sure when you do the submission, you know the information with is inside is definite, is final. Finally, some tips and tricks before your submission. I'm repeating myself a lot, but as you know, because we receive a lot of queries and questions about that. So once you've done with the tab number 0, is fill in and save. Please click and save. Check on the check and save button. It's here on the top right-hand corner of your screen, because you won't be able to continue the process otherwise. Okay, so if it's blocked, this is most likely because you are missing this step. Again, register your organization in Plaza as early as possible. Don't wait until the end. In the past, we also see some organization, mainly when this is about consortium, that an organization was not able to register, and this means the proposal was not eligible. That's really unfortunate, especially when you are working hard with your proposal. Before submitting your proposal, make sure you fulfill all the core requirements that we showed before today, but also most extensively explained in the call manual. Your proposal is complete, readable in English, and all the consortium partners are registered and have the PIF and the PIC completed. Don't wait until the end, really, because we also see some last-minute technical issue on your side. And this is really unfortunate because, again, the system will be automatically closed at 1 minute past 5 o'clock. So, that will be very pity. And we see some unfortunate situation where we are not able to accept proposal because they submit it a few minutes later. You will receive a message when your submission is done. Okay, so I will say submit as early as possible. Don't wait even the day before that. This is ideal, but well, it's of course up to you to organize yourself. And some guidelines will be available also, not at the end of the week, sorry, but once all the technical issues have been solved. So in a few days or a couple of weeks maximum. In any case, you can already start the registration. You have all the elements also to start working on your proposal, and these slides will be available in the week or even tomorrow already. And these are the contact details if you have any doubt during the process of the registration on the European Commission site, but also in our platform Plaza, we have the service desk. And in terms of content, you can always contact Maria or myself at PMO for any operational doubt. Thank you very much. I know it's a bit late already, but we can, if you have a bit of time, we can still take a few questions. I know there are a few, I think there are a few.
Yeah, thanks so much, Laura. So, okay, here it says to assess our chances in relation to the needed effort. Can you tell a bit more how many applications received last call? Okay, again, last call, it was very successful. Last year, it was around 100 applications that we received, but the previous year, it wasn't even half of it. So I cannot really assume that this year is going to be, again, 100 applications or more towards half of it. I don't know, just to give you a flavor, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then can organizations submit more than one project? If so, there is a maximum number of project proposals per organization. Okay, there isn't a specific ban on you submitting more than one project. However, you are kind of competing with yourself. You know what I mean? The more projects you're competing to get awarded, and we do look when proposals are having the same score, we look for geographical spread, for instance, which I assume that if you're the same entity, you maybe producing proposals within the same country. So yeah, I think there isn't a specific ban, but I think it's not advisable because you'd be competing against yourself. Unless there are two proposals very, very much different, tackling different challenges, happening in different countries, then maybe makes sense. And then please question the Ignite event, select projects were communicated. I mean, we had 4 selected projects awarded, but well, I'm not sure if they have already been announcing the events organized as such as they would be towards the end of the year. I don't know if Natalia Vera is here, if you want to comment on that.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, as you said, Maria, we opened this call in the springtime. We had it open for 2 months, and then we ran selection process. So we've been able to choose 4 hosts. One is in Zaragoza, the other one is in Riga, the other one is in Brussels, and the other one is in Cilantro in Italy. So we have these 4 countries represented: Italy, Spain, Latvia, and Belgium, and they will all be hosting their events from late September until early November in a cascade way. The announcement is going to be released in the next weeks. We are gathering the information around the venue, the specific dates. It's not a one-off event, but it has preparatory warm-up sessions with the participants to warm up, to discuss, to create teams, and to be able to address the challenges of the European Bauhaus in a local way. So I would just say stay tuned, and in the next 2 weeks we will be releasing all the information. I strongly encourage the attendees in this meeting to participate in these meetings if you are around those locations, because it will be an extraordinary opportunity not only to discover, enjoy, and experience the European Bauhaus, but also and especially to ideate and create innovative ideas around those challenges and with the core values of the European Bauhaus. So this is what I can share up to now. Maria, thank you.
Thanks so much, Natalia, for being supportive here. Any other questions? I think I answered all. I mean, here there was another question about whether they need to be partners of DIT, and again, no, not for this call, not for the other. It's a total open call, and you only have to be registered as a legal entity, either public or private, within EU or in Europe associated countries. And obviously, as I mentioned, there are special conditions for Switzerland, UK, and Hungary. Okay, I can see people here already making matchmaking, which is lovely. This is great. So please, yes, feel free to contact each other. And if you want to register on the 8th of September, please do so. The links are on the websites where you found the call. And we're going to provide a template of a PowerPoint to do so. It's going to be like very, very short, just 3-4 minutes each. And please be concise on what would you like to focus on. What do you bring as a skills, and what you're looking for to form a consortia, whether it's another partner to complement your skills, or whether it's a city to make the project happen. I think that's it for today. We started 5 minutes late. We finished 5 minutes late. Quite fair. If there isn't any other questions, we'll close here. Recording will be available with the slides in a few days in our websites. Then obviously, if you have doubts there, you can also contact us. Laura is more towards the Plaza questions and more towards content. Yeah, here we are. But of course, if you are a part of a KIC, you can also reach out to if you're part of climate, you can reach out to Natalia Vera. If you're part of food, you can reach out to Tommaso or Marianne, if you know them. But if not, I can always answer and refer back to them if I didn't know the question Only to mention that if you have registered in Plaza, but in another KIC Plaza, you will still have to start registration from scratch in our Plaza. And I'm sorry about that, but we do not share platforms yet. I just want you to know that, yeah, probably next year will be another platform, but so far we still have to work with what we have. Well, so since everyone seems to be happy with the information they got, we'll... Oh, Ruben, yeah.
So I just want to say thank you. So,
that's
but still,
that's very kind of you. Thank you. It's always good to hear it. Okay, have a nice day and take care.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully to see you your applications or to see you on the 8th of September.
Yeah, good luck with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.